Latest football news,
engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Yes, and welcome to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio. We're back for another week of football news. And who have I joined by today?
It's Dan again, and I have a voice this time.
Yes, you do. It's quite nice actually to hear you. Well, we're going to just jump straight into the news because it's everywhere, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
The news. Bury and Bolton are not in a very good situation. Bury are in a worse situation than Bolton. We'll start for them. I think it was 11 o'clock last night. The EFL confirmed that they have been expelled from the Football League altogether after a deal wasn't gone through. What do you think to it?
It's really, really sad. I mean, this has been going on for quite a while now, and it's been getting worse and worse. We've had interviews from Steve Dale, that owner, coming out and speaking rubbish on Talk Sport and Radio 5 Live, and I think this was inevitable, really. For the company that were going to buy the club to, pull out with a couple of hours to go, it's not a good sign. And I feel really sorry for the fans because yesterday, they all came out and cleaned the stadium ready for the game on Saturday.
Yeah, there's I think it's 400 fans.
Yeah,
including a young Bolton fan as well, which I thought, it's such a nice touch.
Yeah, it is, and it's really sad to see a club like this get expelled from the EFL like this. And I think that the EFL as a company need to answer some questions because they've let all this happen. I mean, to let Steve Dale come in the first place was a poor decision because, he bought the club for £1. That's not going to go well, is it? No,
it isn't. And I know when they got promoted, they were in £8 million of debt.
Yeah.
And sort of just things haven't gone. But what can come out from us now, really? Is there any sort of bright side to this?
I think at this moment in time, probably not. It's quite new, so, people are going to be quite heartbroken about it at the moment, but I think there is light at the end of the tunnel because we've seen it with Wimbledon. I can't exactly remember what happened to them.
I think somebody bought them and then they basically made MK Dons out of the Wimbledon setup. So Wimbledon, I think, were in League 2 or League 1 at the time, and they basically just moved them over to MK Dons, and then Wimbledon just became non-existent.
Yeah. But now they're back in the same league as them, so it proves that it can happen. So if Bury can apply for next season, I don't know what league they'll be in, but if the fans can run the club instead, then they could be back in the future. And I hope they are because it's a great club.
It is a great club. Well, we better move on to Bolton, who are not far away from Bury, really. It's quite weird how two clubs are in the same sort of problem, but they've been given 14 more days or 2 weeks to find a buyer or they will be expelled. Is there any chance they could find a buyer in time?
I think so because I feel like the size... Bolton is bigger than Bury as in the club, and I feel like the history of Bolton, and it will be... No disrespect to Bury, but I think if Bolton got expelled, I think it would make more of an impact. So I can see Bolton surviving. I feel like there will be a buyer, but we'll have to wait and see. They've got 2 weeks, so let's hope that a buyer comes in.
Let's hope because they played Ipswich Town, didn't they?
Yes, we'll lose our 5 goals.
Yes, you will lose your 5 goals. Well,
that's not really important.
No, it isn't important. It's important the football club survives, but it's absolutely devastating news. Well, we've got plenty coming up on the show today. Actually, we've got Ipswich Town, like you just mentioned there. Yep. Their match against Bolton on Saturday. Yeah. Still buzzing from that, probably. Yes. We've got the Premier League, and then we've got talking about focusing on Watford and Javi Gracia because things are not looking good at Watford at the moment, are they? No. Stay up to date with the latest footy news.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Yes, that is right. Stay up to date with all the latest footy news here on Pitchside Talk on IO Radio. And now we're going to talk about Ipswich Town. It was described as a golden Saturday, I heard. So it was one of the best Saturdays in your life for Ipswich,
well, I'm not sure about that.
What I saw from Ipswich Town on their Twitter, it was one of the best days of their lives, wasn't it?
I guess.
You guess. But I guess we better move on to Ipswich Town. Did a very professional performance, labelled by Paul Lambert, to go top of the League One by beating Bolton 5-0.
Yes.
How impressive were Ipswich Town?
I think, we were obviously impressive. I think as you said, it was a very professional performance. I'd say I was expecting us to at least win by 3 or 4 because, the Bolton, I think they played 4 17-year-olds in this game. So, yeah, tough for them. So I was expecting us to be the better team, and we proved that by thrashing them 5-0. And obviously no disrespect for Bolton because they're in an awful position, but it's just nice to see us thrash a team. You know what I mean? Because we haven't done it in a while. So
I can't remember the last time you scored more than 3 goals, not to be rude.
I think the last time we scored 5 was against Sunderland at home. We won 5-2 a couple of years ago.
Oh, yes. Under Mick McCarthy.
A name I won't say.
You loved the little Twitter thing, didn't you?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's great to see us score 5 and top of the league.
Yes, and top of the league. Well, 2 goals for James Norwood and 2 goals for Ken Jackson in this game.
Yeah.
Have Ipswich finally solved the problem up top? Can these 2 hit now? You could probably say fire Ipswich to the top of fire them up the league a bit.
Yeah, I think our striker situation has definitely improved. I mean, the addition of Norwood has made, we can score goals now, so that's what I'm happy about. I think Jackson has really improved from last season. I think he seems like a good player for League One. I don't know if he can cut it in the Championship, but Norwood and Jackson up front is going to be deadly this year, and I can't wait to see how many goals they get between each other. I don't know what that was.
I don't know what's going on. I feel like somebody's going to fall through the ceiling. There's so much bang. Maybe they're just still partying from Saturday.
Maybe.
That's what it is, probably.
Yeah. And also, do you see all the Twitter stuff with James Norwood?
Yes,
and
I
Dwayne
did.
Johnson, Rock, actually replied to James Norwood.
I'm going to have to get it up. It was a wrestling move which what Rock is very famous for. Wasn't his famous elbow or something?
Yeah.
Because they did one, didn't they? Was it his first goal, which was the Stone Cold?
Yes, Steve Austin one.
Yes. And
that got 1.3 million views on Twitter.
Yes, I don't know how many times this one got. Let's have a look. 1.5 million.
Wow.
And then The Rock replied to it, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
I have to ask you: with sort of seeing this sort of stuff, does it feel like the feel-good factor's now back at Ipswich?
Yeah, definitely.
Haven't seen this in a long time.
No, we haven't. Last season was so depressing, and now we're scoring goals for fun. James Norwood is. I mean, his social media is brilliant. I don't know.
Yes, I've seen it as well.
Yeah.
Was it teasing Norwich fans?
Yeah, riling up all the Norwich
day.
fans. Yeah, so it's great to see. I'm so happy with how things are going at the moment.
Oh, that's good to see. Well, also it was an appearance of a debut actually for Kane Vincent Young, very highly anticipated debut actually at right back. It's just had a fair few problems with right back for a number of years.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah, well, okay, understatement of the year. They had problems at right back, but did his sort of debut give you a glimpse that the problems now down that right hand side are fixed?
Yeah, there was some good signs. I mean, he looked 100 times better than Donasian did on Tuesday. Sorry, Donasian. But yeah, he's looking great. I mean, we paid $500,000 for him, so I feel like he may be under pressure a little bit, but he's looking great at the moment, and I can't wait to see how well he does. And he's a massive improvement to what we've had before, and Jordan Spence as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to how he does.
That's good to see. But I just want to quickly ask you about another goal scorer who sort of come back from injury.
Yeah.
Greon Edwards, who sort of was the star player, wasn't he, last season in the Championship? He did quite well.
Yeah, I thought so.
Considering.
He was one of our best players last year, I thought.
It was nice to see him get a goal. He got his first goal for Ipswich in League One. Is there sort of promising signs now for him? He can maybe kick on again.
Yeah,
back from his injury.
Yeah, I think so. I think he can be a great player on his day. It's just that there's so many players, and there's so many players that can play his position. He can play. He's been playing on the left and the right this season. He played on the right against Bolton, I think. Or did he come on?
What? Who?
No, he didn't. He did start. He came off. Sorry, I got confused. Yeah, so he started on the right. He's been playing he played on the left against someone.
Did he play against Luton?
Yeah, he might have done.
That's sort of his first appearance because he came back from injury.
Yeah, but I think he can kick on now. If we're going to play 4-4-2 and he plays on the right, then he's going to be great. And, I've seen glimpses where he can be a brilliant player. His first game, I don't know if you've seen this, but against Blackburn last year, he done that flick. He kind of done a back heel over the defender's head.
Oh, yes. I've seen
done
that.
a few step overs. So he's got potential. We've got Rowe as well, who can play there, but I think Edwards is probably above Rowe in the pecking order at the moment. So, yeah, I think he can kick on now.
Well, that's good to see. Well, we better move on to the left-hand side where Edwards played and Judge.
That's more confusing.
Yes, it is confusing. Judge played.
Yeah.
He did quite well.
Yeah.
Is he sort of now trying to just kick on now, really? Couldn't get his move to Queen's Park Rangers?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously he hasn't had a great start to the season, and he definitely looked better in this game. But I still think it's going to be tough for him if he can't keep putting in these consistent performances, because you've got Garber, who's going to be coming back from injury. We've got Georgia as well, who looked brilliant on the left against Wimbledon.
Got Sears as well, who can play down the left as well.
Probably will play on the left. I think Lambert likes to play him on the left. So I'd like Judge to be in the team. I think he's best in the 10 position, but we playing 4-4-2. So if he's going to play, he's going to be playing on the left. So I feel like it's going to be tough for him, but I still think he's the best player we've got in that position.
I just want to ask you, because you're saying you could play in that 10.
Yeah.
If you were the manager, would you change that so he could play in that 10? Or would you just stick with this 4-4-2? It's working. Let's not touch it.
Yeah, but the thing is, if we play Judge in the 10 position, I don't know what formation would play around it, because I still want to play two up front.
You could play probably 3 midfielders, but then you
haven't got any
you'd be
wingers.
quite the wing or the right backs will have to fullbacks will have to push quite hard.
Yeah, so no, I'd say we stick with this formation because it's working fine, and he's okay on the left. He can play on the left, so I feel like we should just stick with this formation.
Okay,
definitely.
That's good to see. Well, and also a clean sheet for it as well.
Yes,
I forgot to mention that's quite good to see.
Yes, it is.
Need some positive signs at the back.
Yeah, I mean James Wilson has looked solid actually.
Maybe signing off the last proper.
Yeah,
he's only there until January. It's just quite crazy.
Yeah, I was expecting him to not be great because he couldn't even get a game against Lincoln, but he's looked solid. Well,
that's good to see. Well, Ipswich plays Shrewsbury Town on Saturday.
Yes, I do.
Unfortunately, I was actually going to go.
Oh, wait.
But unfortunately, I can't. I'm working.
Oh
no, sad time. Sad times. I've got to pay the bills these days now. But can Ipswich make it 3 games in a row? The last time they made it, well, they got 3 games won in a row, was back in 17-18 when they won the first 4 games. Good old Mick doing his bit. Can this be another win?
Yes, I think so. I mean, Shrewsbury have had an okay start to the season.
They've 8th.
Yeah, so they've done well. But I think our team is
9th. Sorry. It's Doncaster 8th. Sorry, Doncaster.
Oh no. So yeah, I think we can get the win. I think our team's good enough to beat a team like Shrewsbury. No disrespect to Shrewsbury, but I can see us getting all 3 points. Okay. I think it'll be 2-0 to Ipswich 2-0 on Saturday.
Before we get to ask, how does it feel to be top of the league?
It feels great.
It feels great.
Oh. I can actually remember the last time we were top of the league. We were top of the league for about 2 hours in the 14-15 season after we beat Brentford on Boxing Day.
I do actually remember that.
Yeah.
And there wasn't another time they could have gone top, but they drawed 1-1 to Bournemouth.
Yes, I remember that as well. Yeah.
I remember that. I think Stephen Hunt scored. I think he scored. I feel like he scored.
No, he did.
Did he not?
No, he didn't even score for Ipswich.
Oh, did he not?
No.
Oh, I'm thinking of Southampton again.
Yeah.
He was definitely onside.
He was onside.
Good old Mick. He made sure he's onside. Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Premier League and all the results really over the 3 days.
Yes.
They played on Friday as well.
Yeah.
They should just play every day, really.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Yes, that's right. Pitchside Talk is one of our own here on IO Radio. And at the end of the show, I have a little bit of exclusive news to reveal to you.
Yes.
Something happened about half an hour ago.
And we didn't even know about it.
No, I didn't know about
half an hour ago.
I got a message 12:30, but internet and that doesn't work
No.
for some reason. Data, it's all rubbish. Well, we better now move on to the Premier League, and it's back again.
Yep.
3 days, but we're going to be focusing on two big games really for top 6 sides who slipped up really. Tottenham and Man U had slipped up this weekend, but we're going to focus first on Manchester United.
Yes. Make sure you don't laugh.
I've already started laughing. They were stunned by Crystal Palace 2-1, with Patrick Van Aanholt getting a 93rd minute winner.
Yes.
How important was it for Crystal Palace to really sort of get this victory? Because they sort of, the last season they were brilliant away from home. They got the Man City win, of course, and drove Liverpool and all sorts. But they've had a bit of a shaky start really to the season, drawing against Everton and losing to Sheffield United. How important was it for them to get these 3 points?
Yeah, it was really important to get their season underway. I think Crystal Palace are a weird team because they can easily drop down, but still their team is good enough to stay up. But this win against Man United, I think that was a brilliant win for them because it stunned the Old Trafford crowd, didn't it? We're not expecting
it. Did a bit.
So yeah, it was great for them, and I feel like if Crystal Palace can keep up their away form that they had last season, then they've definitely got enough to stay up this year.
Well, it did stun them a bit because the last person to score an injury winner at Manchester United was Thierry Henry back in 2007.
Wow.
And that was
a good stat.
And it's the first ever victory Crystal Palace have had at Old Trafford since 1989.
Wow,
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Crazy.
But there was a more last week we had controversy over penalties over Paul Pogba and Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Well, this time they won a penalty. Marcus Rashford took the penalty and hit the post.
It was bound to happen.
It was bound to happen, but is there sort of are we seeing more problems up the top really from Manchester United? Do they sort of need to now go, right, you're going to take the penalties and do that straight away at the start of the game, so just in halfway through the game go, oh, you're going to take it now? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, both Pogba and Rashford would probably want to take a penalty, but I don't know. I've seen people saying on Twitter that Martial should be taking penalties because he's good at penalties, but it's a weird situation. I mean, it's always going to be difficult to pick who's going to take the penalty because, I mean, Pogba is a world-class player. Rashford is, I'd say he's overrated, but shh. So yeah, there might be a bit of morale, their morale being affected by this, maybe. A bit of a falling out between the two, but I don't know. I mean, I think the managers should say you're taking the penalty, and that's how it should be.
Is that what Ollie should do, really? Because he sort of got criticised last week for a man management over the penalty, but should he now be sort of firm and say you're going to take it? Yeah,
because it's if you just choose in the game, I just think it puts pressure on the players. I mean, I just think that Ollie should, put his foot down and say, if he wants Rashford to take the penalty, just say, Marcus, you're taking the penalty. It doesn't matter what Pogba says, you're taking a penalty. And I feel like that will make it, that will take the pressure off Rashford a little bit, I think. So, yeah, I think that's what Ollie should do.
That's what he should do. But I just want to ask you about sort of Man U sort of up there to sort of be in the top four. And they sort of had this result, really. Does this now sort of show that the problems are still there from last season? And can they, after sort of dropping points here, still get into the top four? I know we're talking. We're only just at the start of the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
but
they've only played 3 games.
But sort of what's happened over last season with the fine margins, would it come down to the fine margins again?
I don't know with Man United. I think it will come down. It will be close. I think with Ollie, I don't think he's the right man to get Man United into the top 4. He hasn't had the best of times. He was okay last season, but I mean, I feel like just because a player's a legend, he shouldn't be given the job. Frank Lampard. So I don't think he's the right man for the job, and in my opinion, I don't think Man United are good enough to get into the top 4. And I think they sold Lukaku, so that's a goal scorer gone. I think maybe they could have kept him, but
also Sanchez is off to Inter as well. Very convenient, but online with no option to buy. But I just want to ask you about that sort of. They lost Lukaku and they haven't replaced him.
No,
is that going to have? I know he's been gone now, but is that going to have an effect up top? Does that put more pressure now on Martial and Rashford you've got to step up really?
Yeah, I think they'll miss Lukaku. I think obviously some Man United fans don't like him. I've seen that on Twitter a lot. But I think he's a great goal scorer and he can definitely score 15 plus goals a season for Man United. So I feel like he'll be a big miss. But this does put pressure on Martial and Rashford because Martial's a better goal scorer than Rashford, I think. But they're still, I don't know, I feel like they're...
Inconsistent?
Yeah, that's probably right, inconsistent. But I don't think they can be that type of goal scorer for Man United. But obviously the transfer window's gone, so they haven't really got a choice.
No, they haven't. As I say that with a big smile on my face. But I actually put out a poll the other day about will Man U finish in the top 4 at the end of the season, and 72% of people said no.
Yeah.
So that sort of shows sort of the general feel about Manchester United this season, that it's not going to be rosy.
No.
The Chelsea game, well, we don't know. Could have been a fluke, but it looks like it's going to be a long, hard season for Manchester United.
Yeah,
well,
I think so.
Well, we better move on to Tottenham. Last week we were saying that they're going to be they're going to win the Premier League. They're going to be challenging.
I didn't quite say that.
No, but they can challenge for it. They could pose a big threat. But they were hit back by Newcastle, who bounced back from last week having criticism to winning at Tottenham.
Yeah.
And Steve Bruce saying, hopefully that'll shut a few people up. Will that result for Newcastle shut a few people up?
I mean, we'll have to see, won't we? I mean, we could just say that this result was a fluke, but this was a fantastic result for them. To win away at Tottenham in the circumstances that they're in as well. I mean, people were criticising Steve Bruce coming in and the signings that he's made. But, I mean, what a result for them. When you think about it, it's a fantastic result.
It is a fantastic result. It's a Joel Linton got off the mark first goal.
Yeah.
They look quite good, but it's just sort of putting people back in their place a little bit after what happened to Norwich, because there was a lot of criticism from in the team. Paul Dummett, I know, said that everything wasn't right from the training on match day.
Yeah.
And then there's people criticising all this, but is it going to help them really? Is it just sort of maybe it's just a nice to have a bit of a feel good factor?
Yeah, I think obviously it's still early in the season, so teams are still trying to get to grips with what their teams are like. So I'd say that this result probably I said it was a brilliant result, but it probably won't affect things. I still think Newcastle will get relegated this year because they haven't looked great in games. I mean, they lost 3-1 to Norwich, so
yeah, and then they lost 1-0 to Arsenal, which was actually quite a bit. I thought it was going to be a thrashing, but that wasn't. But
but I still don't think Newcastle have enough, and I don't know about Steve Bruce. I mean, he's doing things well, I think, at the to start with, but I still don't think he's the right manager for the job.
No,
still
don't. Well, there's actually an interesting stat. Actually, the last time Newcastle won away to a top 6 side was Tottenham, and they beat them 2-1, and in that season as well, they actually got relegated.
Wow.
So
was that the season that they beat them like 5-1 at home last game of the season?
Yes, that's when Andros Townsend, basically just went hello.
Yeah.
And then just came to life. I think that's the only time he's really come to life sometimes.
Yeah.
But looking at Tottenham, last week we were saying they could challenge for the Premier League and all sorts. But does this result now sort of change your opinion? If they can or not, because they look, I don't know what it is, but they look quite lackluster.
Yeah.
Is there a problem with motivating the players, or they still just hang over from last season, sort of get into the Champions League final, not winning that, and just sort of that's still over them a bit?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is from last season. I don't know. I still think they'll finish top 4. They've made some decent signings, which is rare for them. So, yeah, I don't know about this result. I feel like it's too early on in the season to really get a grip with how teams are playing and how the league table will be, because Leicester are in the top 4 right now. And
yeah, that's crazy. I've seen a lot of people say, we're going to win the league, we're undefeated, and I'm just like, just calm down a second.
Yeah, so I still think it's too early to guess, but obviously this result will affect morale at Tottenham, but I still think that they'll finish top 4 this year. I don't think they're quite good enough to finish top 2, but top 4 definitely.
Okay, well, there's a big factor in the game as well. Christian Eriksen was left on the bench again. He came on like he did against Aston Villa. Didn't have the biggest impact, but there's lots of talk now circulating that he will be going. Do you sort of think he will leave? Because he did say in the summer he wanted a new challenge.
Yeah.
He hasn't got that in going to Real Madrid because Real Madrid haven't got to sign him yet. But will he go? Is this sort of Pochettino sort of trying to phase him out of the squad to not have much of a negative effect?
I don't think he'll leave this transfer window. I think that he'll leave in January.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like Pochettino is doing that. He's kind of fading him out of the squad. I still, even if he is going to leave in January, I still think he should start every game because he's a fantastic player, and to leave him out, that's quite a big decision. So yeah, in my opinion, I mean they've only got 3 days left.
Yes, they have got 3 days left.
So it's going to be quite hard to sign him, I think. So yeah, I don't think he's going to leave, but this transfer window, but I think he'll leave in January.
Well, that would be a big loss for Tottenham because he made 51 appearances last season, 10 goals, 17 assists, and 0 trophies.
Got to had to put that in.
I did actually because they haven't won anything, and it's sort of going to be a bit of a factor, really.
Yeah, I mean,
Tottenham they haven't won anything.
No,
is that just a big factor in sort of?
Yeah, I feel like they're desperate to win something, even if it is the League Cup. So yeah, maybe that's a factor, but I don't know. I think they're getting closer. They're getting closer to silverware.
They're getting closer.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I think.
Okay, well, we better move on to the biggest game of the weekend, the game which I actually forgot about when I was writing this up.
Because you were at Ed Sheeran, weren't you?
Yes, I was actually at Ed Sheeran. Yeah. It was a good time. Yeah. And didn't get any data. Just had to rely on Peel going, it's 5-0. So I'm like, what? I left it at 1.
Yeah.
Liverpool won 3-1 against Arsenal. Liverpool now the only team in the league to to not drop points. Mm-hmm. But we'll move on to Arsenal first. This is a bit of a weird one, really, because they sort of said, this is going to be our season. They've won the first 2 opening games. And it's sort of crumbled a bit now. Well, it feels like in the camp it has a bit. Because the last 23 Premier League away games to the top 6, they have drawn 8 and lost 15, conceding 53 goals. They haven't won.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a big factor on their season, really, that they can't seem to beat the top 6 away? This is just a constant problem that's happening at Arsenal each year. They can't do it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the problem. I mean, I feel like their team's really good this year. They've signed Pepe,
Luis, who we'll get onto him later on.
Okay. So yeah, they've got a decent side, but it's just when they come up against top 6 teams, they just can't get results, especially away from home. So I think that's a huge factor for them in trying to get to top 4. But they did play Liverpool away, and I think that Liverpool are going to win the league this year. So.
Oh, thank you. I'm predicting them to win the league. I get criticised at home, you know.
Really?
Yeah, because they go because my family's all Liverpool, and they go, "You didn't predict them to win the league." I'm like, I'm being realistic. I didn't say it last.
Them winning the league is realistic.
It is realistic.
It is realistic.
I now feel really bad for not saying it, but you know, I said it last season. We weren't going to win the league. I stuck to my guns on it, and I was right. I should have gone down the bookies.
Yeah.
But so I just want to ask you: would it be a 2-horse race again this season? We will get onto Man City.
Yeah, I think so.
2-horse race.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Liverpool, Man City again.
Okay,
like it was last year.
Oh, thank you. Well, we better get on to a quick rundown of all the score predictions. Oh, not scores.
Yeah.
Not scores predictions, but Aston Villa got the first win against Everton.
Yes.
Quite important for them to now get that win, especially against Everton, a very good side who are pushing for top 6 ambitions.
Yes.
We'll start with Aston Villa. Good for them. They need the win, don't they?
They do. I think
things are going
right.
They
need to get momentum going, and I still think they're going to stay up this year because I think they have the team that can do it. I don't know who scored in that game.
Wesley and El Ghazi scored in the 95th.
So yeah, it's good for Wesley to get off the mark. I think he could be a good player for Aston Villa this year. So yeah, we'll see how they do. I don't know who they play next, but
good question. I don't know. I haven't got my book out. Well, I'll get it out in a second. But
okay.
Everton, does this show that they don't have enough for the top 6?
No, I don't know about Everton. I feel like they're like Leicester. They have a really good side and could fight for the top 6, but they just don't have that spark. They've got some great players. They've got Gylfi Sigurdsson, obviously. They got Bernard, who's a great player. So they do have the foundations to challenge for Europe, but they just don't have quite enough, I don't think.
I totally agree. They seem to always spend so much money. And I'm trying to find this book. Found it.
There we go.
There we go. I'll have a look who Aston Villa are playing next. Well, we better move on to Saturday lunchtime.
Yep, and I actually watched this game.
Did you actually?
Yeah, because it was on BT Sports. So
I actually watched it as well. Perfectly honest, I actually quite enjoyed it. You know,
I quite enjoyed it as well.
Let's have a look.
Can you guess why?
Yes, I can guess why. The Crystal Palace Aston Villa play next.
Oh, okay.
Everton play. So scroll through my book. I kept this because I thought it'd be handy.
Yeah,
it is handy.
It's handy.
They play Wolves.
That'd be a good game, actually.
That would be a very good game. If you look up to the sky, you'll watch it. So Norwich draw a loss 2-3 to Chelsea.
Yep.
A very good game, actually. I thought in goals.
Yeah.
Sort of two open sides playing expansive football.
Yep.
But how important was it for Frank Lampard to get his first win on the board? Tammy to get 2 goals after all the criticisms he's had.
Yeah, I don't think he's scored a goal for Chelsea before, has he? So that's massive for him.
He's been there since he was 8.
Yeah.
And Mason Mount getting off the mark again.
Yep.
So how important was it for them to get that win?
Yeah, it was really important for Lampard to get this win. I think to see these 2 young players get the goals as well, I think that puts them really good stead for this season. And I have a feeling that Abraham is going to score a lot of goals this year. I still don't think Chelsea are good enough for top 4, but I think that them 2 will be crucial, and it's good to see because Mount he's only been on loan a season, but Abraham hasn't really had a breakthrough. He's been on loan at Championship clubs. I don't know how old he is. I think he's in his 20s now.
I think he's 21.
Yeah.
I want to say he's 21.
Yeah, so maybe this will be his breakout season, and I think it'll be good to see. And they're both English.
Yes, and Norwich are losing. Mm-hmm. Does this sort of show that their expansive football can come undone just at the back a bit?
Yeah,
really?
I think defensively is their biggest issue. But at times in this game, I was like, wow, Norwich are good. Going forward, they're really good. So, yeah, I feel like they will score goals with Timu Pukki as well. I mean, he scored 5 goals already.
Yes.
So I feel like they'll be good going forward. But defensively, I still think is a huge issue. So I don't know about Norwich. I still think they'll stay up this year. But I don't know. Defensively might.
I never got your Premier League predictions.
No, you didn't, did you?
No, I didn't.
I
have to get them off you because
right.
you now say Norwich can stay up.
Yeah.
So I'm really intrigued now. We'll quickly just skim through the other results. So Brighton lost 2-0 to Southampton. Southampton getting their first point of the season.
Yeah, well, last season this would have been a relegation 6-pointer, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, it would have been, yes.
So,
how times have changed.
Yeah.
Sheffield United lost to Leicester City. Jamie Vardy doing his very, very famous celebration because
he's a Wednesday fan, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
They did not like that.
No, they didn't.
And then what else? Oh yeah, and we've got Wolves drawed 1-1 with Burnley.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was pretty predictable, I thought.
That was a bit.
That was looked like a nailed-on draw.
And then Bournemouth lost 3-1 to Man
I'd say
City.
that free kick from Harry Wilson.
Top class.
Perfect.
Well,
we missed Watford and West Ham.
Ah, wow. Wow.
Did I ruin it for you?
Yes, you did a little
I'm
bit,
so sorry.
but it's all fine. I can change my plans. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about Watford because it wasn't a great weekend for them against West Ham. Mm-hmm. We will reveal the result just after this.
The best place in Ipswich to hear the latest football debates, Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Yes, this is right. The best place in Ipswich to hear all the latest footy debates, from local to international to wherever, really.
Yeah.
We're still trying to get wherever, really. But no, before I forget to mention, at the end of the show, I've got some exciting and / exclusive news.
Yes.
Ooh,
Exciting
it's getting all exciting. Well, we better now talk about, Watford. We didn't mention it in the last link.
Yep, I ruined it for you.
You did a little bit, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Well, Watford, what has happened to them? Well, 12 months ago, Dan, they had 9 points from 3 games, right? Mm-hmm. This season, 0 points from 3 games, only scored 1 goal. At the bottom of the table, they lost 3-1 to West Ham on Saturday.
Yep.
How's it gone so wrong so quickly? Because they were doing so well last season. They got to the FA Cup final. Remember that?
Yeah.
And they
that
lost
didn't
6-0.
end well, really, did it? But
no, but at least they made it.
Yeah, they made it.
What was really going wrong for them?
It's hard to say because I don't know. I think the transfer window is probably one of the major factors why this has happened at the start of the season. Because they only brought in 9 players and sold.
They sold 17 compared to last season's 23 arrivals and 23 out.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've made some okay signings, but I feel like teams around them have been improving. Like teams they want to challenge, like Wolves and Everton. I feel like they'll want to be up there with them. They've improved quite a bit, and I don't know. I feel like because of the lack of signings, the morale's kind of slipped a bit. I still think they're good enough to survive, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I guess.
We'll see how it goes. Well, that was their 7th consecutive loss, equaling the record set back in 1999.
Wow,
that's quite crazy. But
yeah,
so you mentioned about the transfer window. Has that sort of had an effect, having this sort of a quiet window by their standards? I know you look at that and you kind of go, well, that's not quiet. 9 in and 17 out. But compared to last season, it's just sort of had a little bit of an effect on them.
Yeah, I think so.
Not being fresh again.
Yeah, I feel like they want to improve their squad because they've kind of been a mid-table team for quite a while. So they want to be, challenging for the top. I can't remember where they finished last season, actually.
I'm actually going to have a look because I feel like they were... I want to say they were 10th.
Yeah.
They were in that... Because there was that sort of... Them 3 positions were split by like 1 point or 2.
Yeah.
Because I think West Ham lost out on that. I'll have a quick look whilst we're here.
Yeah, so...
League rankings.
They've been a decent team in the Premier League. So I do think they'll survive. But
yeah, they finished 11th.
11th. They're wanting to get into the top 10, so I feel like they need to bring more players in than that, and signing players like Welbeck. I mean, his career's kind of finished, isn't it? It's an alright signing, but it's not anything to be like, I don't know.
No, well, last season it was Delafeu came in.
Oh yeah,
and Richarlison left.
Yeah,
lots of Watford fans say for the better because they've for some reason improved without him.
Yeah,
but we want to sort of more focus now on Javi Garcia. He's sort of been outlined the first in the sack race. And do you sort of agree with that? Because we've seen with Watford sort of past, managers do come and go.
Yeah.
They've had 4 managers in their Premier League history, and they've been now for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
It's quite crazy, really.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I feel like if the team's bottom of the league, you automatically think that their manager is favourite to get sacked. But for me, I think they should give Gracia more of a chance. I don't know. I think he's a decent manager. I mean, how many games has he had?
He's managed 64. He's won 24, drawn 11, and lost 30.
Not great, actually. Look at it now.
It's not great, but
it's okay.
It's not great, but you look at the past managers, and they've had less time than him.
Yeah.
Marcus Hero had 26 games, but I think that's more down to he started talking to Everton and then I think Watford weren't happy with how he changed a bit.
Yeah.
Walter Massari, 41 games. He finished 17th with them. And then we had Flores, who had 44 games. He actually had a whole year in charge.
Wow.
And he finished 13th. So,
yeah,
mixed.
Yeah, I just think that right now probably isn't the best time to sack him because there's not really much managers out there at the moment, is there, who are free? I mean, there's Chris Hughton but I don't think Watford will go in for someone like that.
Well, Watford more go for the unknown.
Yeah.
I think Garcia was managing in Russia, I want to say, and that sort of he wasn't doing well there, and sort of now has come to life in the Premier, really.
Yeah, he has, but I don't think it's the right time. And obviously, there's only been 3 games, so he's got time to improve. But I don't know. I feel like Watford will improve as time goes on.
Improve. Well, they've got a big gap. Well, they won their first game, actually, I think, yesterday against Coventry in the EFL Cup. I don't know. I
just know that Crawley beat Norwich. That's the only one I know.
Do you? Also, Colchester beat Crystal Palace.
On penalties, yeah.
Yeah, Colchester, don't remember that one. Colchester, your biggest rivals, they say.
Just stop, please.
Yeah, they beat Coventry City 3-0. So that's good. So they sort of got something on the board.
Yeah, I guess that'll give them confidence. Who have they got next in the Premier League?
They've got Newcastle away, but this now leads on something. Is the Newcastle game going to be very important? Because looking at their fixtures, if I remember correctly, after Newcastle, it doesn't look good. After Newcastle, they have Arsenal at home, Man City away, Wolves away,
So,
and then Tottenham. So they've sort of got a tricky sort of few games coming up. Is this now going to be the time where they've got to get a win against Newcastle and just hope for the best against the other side?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the biggest chance for them to get 3 points, and I think they really need to take it, because going into the next games, it's unlikely that maybe they'll get a point against Wolves, but I don't know. I can't. Man City away, that's just automatic loss, really.
What happened last season? Yeah, you would say that.
Yeah. Arsenal at home, that's going to be tough. So, yeah, I feel like it's really important for them to get this win, and that will give them confidence to maybe go into these games and think we can actually get a result here. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But I want to ask you, if after this sort of period here, if they don't win against Newcastle and they don't win the next 3, would you say Garcia will get sacked by Watford or leave Watford?
Yeah, I think if they don't win any more games out of these 4, then he'll probably get sacked. But the thing is, maybe they'll find someone abroad like they did with all these other managers who can save them. But I don't know. I just think it's not the greatest time for him to be sacked. But if they do lose these 4 games, he probably will go.
He probably will go. Well, that's quite interesting. That is. But who do you think you would see coming? If there was somebody particular, who could it be?
There isn't really anyone in particular. Watford are good at finding the unknown, so I feel like there's going to be a manager out there that I've never heard of who'll take over.
All right.
But obviously there's the obvious ones, like Chris Hughton that I've said, and Gary Monk's still out there as well, and Karanka's there.
Sam Allardyce
is there. But
I think Kiko Flores is actually still without a club as well.
Okay, so maybe they can go back in for him. But
yeah, maybe go back for him.
Yeah.
Marco Silva, they could probably talk him around again. Like Everton did it, so they can do it. Why not? He'll just bring up the whole squad back.
Yeah.
Richarlison, come back, please.
They're going for Bielsa.
Oh yeah, Bielsa. Yeah, I forgot about Bielsa. Yeah.
Just thought about that.
Didn't they get knocked out yesterday? Just
yes,
on the
they did.
little tangent.
Yes, I can't.
did.
Was it against? I can't
Stoke.
Stoke.
Jack
Button
Butler's
in the league.
Yes, Jack Button scored a goal. He scored a penalty.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, very interesting.
Wow, that's good.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk about our little exclusive news and also about the EFL Cup a little bit, because it's on tonight as well, because there's some more matches, because there's matches galore everywhere, really.
Pitchside Talk, footy debate from the Premier League Outback.
Welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on iRadio, and well, we've got some very exclusive some quite big news. I only found out about this when I got here about 1:30. We're actually going to be on BBC Radio Suffolk tonight.
We are.
We're going to be talking about Bury FC. We're going to be on Stephen Foxton's Drive Time. So tune in tonight. I think that's between 5 and 6.
Yes.
John Rice said the time, who interviewed us.
But we can't remember.
No, I'm so sorry,
not
John.
Very good.
No, our memories are just gone. I think it's just the heat playing.
Yeah.
And also my lack of sleep last night. No, we're nearly at the end of the show, but we've got a few things. We can actually, I'll tell you something. Let's talk a little bit more about Bolton and Bury.
Okay.
Bolton, there's some news come out a few hours ago that staff have been told to put their plans on hold. So, is that good news? Really, I don't. Is that good or bad news? Does anybody know?
Well, I mean, it could be good because it could be a good sign, but then it could be bad because they might be saying this, and then in 14 days they won't be a club anymore, and this will be pointless saying that. So, I don't know.
But I just want to ask you one thing about this. Should the EFL be a bit more watchful what clubs spend? Because we've sort of seen the Premier League golf has now got huge. Does there now need to be a point where they go, right, don't spend too much or you're going to be ending up in this debt, and be like Bury, because Bury kept spending and it all happened.
Yeah.
Is there going to be something where they have to now sort of say to clubs, you need to be careful what you spend?
Yeah, I think that'll definitely be helpful. I mean, there's this financial fair play rules as well. I don't really understand them. You know,
nobody does.
No, that EFL have, but I think that the way that because they do these tests apparently on the owners that are coming into clubs, and obviously that doesn't work. So I think that they need to really knuckle down on how they're going to make that work. And if our owner isn't fit for the job, then don't let him come in. And every fan could see after we saw that Steve Dale bought the club for £1 that it wasn't going to go well and he wasn't fit for the job. And it's proven it now because they're not a club anymore, which is really sad.
It is so sad, and it's sort of a bit bad, really. We're going to finish on a sad note.
Yeah.
Yes, it is very sad. But Bury fans, there is always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
That you will be back one day.
Yeah. We'll be back.
If Wimbledon can do it,
yeah,
you can do it.
Yes, definitely.
But yes, so make sure you tune into BT Radio Suffolk tonight, 5 to 6 drive time. You'll hear us talk about Bury.
Yeah.
In all its glory, and Bolton as well, and Ipswich,
and mentioned Ipswich in there,
and we'll have a good old little laugh about Ipswich as well, because we like it's always good to have a nice little laugh. Yeah. But we'll see you next week. I don't know what we're going to be talking about next week. Probably Premier League, Ipswich, and then something else. I don't know, maybe Bolton.
Yeah, because
there could be some news.
Yeah,
we don't know. No. There could probably be some news tonight at midnight. You know.
Yeah. It could happen any time.
Well, I thought that the Bury sort of news could have come out in the morning. I don't reckon it could have come out at 11 o'clock last night.
No.
I think it's just awful time.
It is awful time.
Awful time. Well, we'll see you next week, and ciao.
See ya.
The whistle has been blown for full time. Tune in next week for another jam-packed show.